creator who's worried you're about to be replaced by AI? If so, you need to watch this video. Welcome back to the Idea Supply Chain, where we take a look at where ideas come from and what makes those ideas valuable. Today, I wanted to talk about the future of creativity and specifically creators. Something I've been struggling a bit with is I want to sell products to creators. I want to help them. I want to help them leverage their skills and scale up exactly what they're doing. But I've run into a bit of a roadblock. And honestly, it's a roadblock that I've struggled with myself as a creator, as a relatively new entrepreneur. And it's one of those things that you've really got to work to overcome. And that's the mindset of a creator. And I think a lot of it stems from this cultural meme that we have of the starving artist, right? People think you have to suffer for art. It's not a productive use of time, except it is. And we see the fact that, art and culture and everything is extremely valuable. But we're torn. A lot of us don't want to sell out, right? It's a matter of like sticking to our principles and remaining true to our art form. But the thing is, art is valuable. And if we're not valuing our art appropriately, then someone else is going to do it and they're going to make money off of us. And this is the battle you see waging between companies like OpenAI and Midjourney and Stability, all these companies that are using stuff available on the internet and using that to generate other things. Artists are worried that they're not being treated fairly in this. But is it that they aren't being treated fairly, or is it that they aren't taking advantage of the value that they're creating? One of the realizations I had as I was debating how to sell some of the services I provide to creators was that creators and agencies are actually the same thing, except that creators are to individuals what agencies are to businesses. As an individual, we look to creators for entertainment, for knowledge, for all sorts of things like that. Whereas in a business, if you're looking for not necessarily entertainment, but sometimes entertainment related stuff, maybe you're going to look for an agency that helps you plan out your company offsite, for example. Basically, you're outsourcing specialized knowledge and, finding someone out there who can bring that knowledge to you and help you implement something based on that. As a business, this is a really important thing because it saves a lot of time and energy that you shouldn't be spending on that by just bringing in someone who already knows what they're talking about. And for creators, we have that different mindset. We have the individual mindset of wanting to spend money, not investing money as a way to save our own time or, really scale out what we can do. And so I was debating, I was like, do I help creators or do I instead shift gears and go to agencies? Because it is kind of this similar problem of educating people about what you do, making the sale and kind of um, helping people connect on this individualized level. And with the whole chatbot idea that I've been playing around with, it's all about that individualized communication. It's about having like an individual way into someone in your audience's mind, like you're talking directly to them without worrying about it being, um, on social media where people have to change the way they communicate because it's constantly being observed and that changes behaviors. So when you put it into a chatbot, it creates a more pure atmosphere for creators to communicate with their audiences or for agencies to communicate with potential future clients. And this means you have more control over what information is shared. You have more control over what information you can surface. And for creators, it's a great way to like surface products when your user or when your audience is ready for them, as opposed to broadcasting them during everything you do and hoping that you do it just enough to where you're not pissing people off, and driving them away from your content. So I think there's a lot of really good advantages to this kind of chat architecture. But again, creators aren't necessarily that interested in spending money to scale themselves up. They don't view themselves as a scalable business. They view themselves as an individual who can provide some sort of service. Now, agencies, though, they have the specialized knowledge or capabilities that they scale through hiring. Most creators don't necessarily want to hire. If you watch, a lot of creators talk about the fact that they waited too long to hire. They waited a long time to make their first hire because they didn't have the right mindset for it. They didn't try to focus on doing the $10,000 an hour work as opposed to the $100 an hour, $10 an hour, or $1,000 an hour. If you're familiar with the KHE kind of framework of breaking down the work that you're doing. And so how do we bridge that mindset gap? And that's a tough question. It's something that, I've been thinking a lot about for the past week or so, because it's tough and it requires a level of education. And, I was talking to a coach, a different one than I mentioned last week. I do believe in surrounding yourself with coaches of all different types, because much like an athlete might have the head coach for the team, and then maybe they've got that on offensive and defensive coordinator, maybe they've got a position coach. Different coaches help you view different aspects of your life through different lenses. And during that conversation, I actually got one of the greatest compliments I've received. And he said, he goes, you're honestly really easy to work with, because I can see you implementing what we talk about. He's like, a lot of times people ask for advice on something, and I give them advice, and then they don't do it, and then they wonder why nothing changes. And one of the things I've dedicated myself to is, once I realized I had high ambitions in life of what I wanted to accomplish, I knew I wasn't good enough. And because I knew I wasn't good enough, I was determined to be coachable. I wanted to improve my skills. And not only was part of that like receiving coaching, it was also learning how to be a coach. I wanted to understand the mechanisms from both sides. I wanted to understand how to get people to change behavior, but also because that helps me understand how to change my own behavior. And I can do that, but a lot of times I still have my own blind spots. And so by bringing in a coach to help me kind of see this, one of the questions he asked me that I've been pondering for the last couple of hours, and it was, okay, well, what problem are you solving? Well, I mean, okay, I'm doing all sorts of these things. Well, what problem are you solving? Well, shit. I know what problem I'm going to solve. I understand what's coming in the future. And I'm trying to help creators head that off. But that's not something that I can sell now. The future is a very hard thing to sell. You have to sell the present, or maybe the very, very near term future. And one of the things I did is I went back and I said, okay, all the things that I've been doing, how have I been helping people? And I realized there is something I've been doing very consistently that has been very, very helpful for a number of people in a number of different areas. And that is that I'm helping creators leverage AI so they don't get replaced by it. And my coach told me a story about selling a CSV. comma separated values file for anyone who's not familiar. And he said it took him 5 minutes to generate, just ran a script, and he sold it for $400. And he explained, he's like, I didn't sell a CSV for $400. He goes, I sold a feeling of security because the person who bought it felt their data was safe. It was backed up. It was something they could hold on to in case it was lost. And that gave me a realization. You can very much sell a feeling. And you can sell a feeling in a number of different ways. And in fact, most of what we sell is feelings, honestly. If you look at marketing, that is exactly what marketing does. It sells feelings. A lot of times we talk about the results that are possible, but how often do you see the epic success story being sold and then a footer that says, results not typical? A lot of what we sell are possibilities. And for that, I think that's where AI can come in, because it can take what used to be only possibilities based on the work that individuals put in, and we can make those possibilities more concrete. And so one of the things I can guarantee is that as a creator who's leveraging AI, you're going to make yourself safe from AI, because you're going to be able to use it to create more human relationships at scale. And when you truly understand how to leverage AI, which I do because I've been in it and I use AI more than most people, and I use it every single day, pretty much all day long, because I've realized how much leverage it gives me, I am not worried at all about being replaced by AI, because I'm doing all the stuff that AI can't do, and I'm telling AI what to do that's valuable for me. And that's something I can help creators with. I can help show them the possibilities that they didn't know that existed. This week alone, I've introduced multiple people to Claude, because that's the only one I use now. I don't use ChatGPT. I use strictly Claude. The new Sonnet 3.5 model is phenomenal. And the amount of things I've been able to do with that are absolutely insane. And so when I'm helping out a friend on his content strategy and how to reach the people he's trying to reach, I can then drop that call into Claude and say, hey, give me different blog posts I can write based on this. Help me identify frameworks that help people think about the things that I'm sharing here. And suddenly I can take an hour of my time and turn that into, an output that before Claude would have taken 10 hours. And that's the power of AI. There's so much leverage you can gain from knowing how to use it. And in some cases, maybe that is a chatbot. In some cases, maybe it's building a tool based on your content library. In other cases, maybe it's just learning how to more effectively do cold outreach to podcast guests. I'm very good at leveraging AI and helping people see how to do that. And so when I look at the problem I'm solving, the problem that I really want to solve, I want to help creators make sure that they're not getting replaced by AI, because I view AI as a wonderful thing, a very powerful tool that can be leveraged for very good reasons and have very good results. So if you're a creator who's worried about getting replaced by AI, I want to tell you, you're not going to be, as long as you learn how to leverage it. If you're not leveraging it, there's a good chance that based on the systems that currently exist, it's going to be really hard for you to compete. But once you figure out how to leverage it efficiently in your workflow, then you're going to be absolutely unstoppable. Because I guarantee you, there are an infinite number of ways to leverage AI for your benefit. And if you're not working on figuring that out, you might get replaced. But if you're focusing on the human element of what you're doing, and that's really what you truly believe in, that's the part that you can use AI to scale. And you can end up doing that very, very effectively. And one of the things I put together is I put together an email course on abundant systems thinking for creators. And I need to maybe work on that title because it hasn't quite connected with creators yet. But basically, it focuses on helping you identify things like, where can you be more generous in your workflows? What is your specialized knowledge? What creators do you follow for specific things? And like, what is your expertise? And finally, like, who do you want to work with? All of these things are very unique to you and they're very, very human centric. And when you identify kind of this core group of ideas, you can use that in combination with AI to have very, very powerful results, because it's all about that human connection. And when you focus in on the humans, really great things happen. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to help other creators learn how to do that as well. And so, free email course in the description if you're interested in that. I hope it's helpful. You get that. You also get my my Calendly link if you ever want to talk it through. I am available. I want to help. And so if this speaks to you, please reach out. I would love to help. And we'll figure it out together, because you're more valuable than AI. You just need to figure out how to use it to capture that value and really put the value of AI to work for you. It's like having an army of employees that you don't need to train or pay, except for maybe a few bucks for inference here and there. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you feel better about your future and the future of AI, and I'll see you in the next video.